Once again, you're welcome to PJ Collection Clothing online class, and in this video I'll be showing us how to cut a rope or a native trouser. Now these are the various measurements I'll be working with. We have the waist, the hip, the thigh, the knee, the ankle, and the trouser length. Now remember, you divide your waist by 4, which is 9. You divide your thigh by 2, which is 13, your knee by 2, 9, your ankle by 2, 7. Now these are the measurements I'll be working with. Now this is the fabric I'll be working with. I'll be working with this fabric, which is 2 yards by 60. 2 yards by 60. Now we're cutting the front panel. The very first thing you need to do, you fold your fabric into 2. Sometimes you notice that there are some fabric that is stretchy and there are some that is not. Now if you're working with a stretchy fabric, make sure that the stretchy part is at the width part and not at the length. The stretchy part is at the width, so that in case the person should add on later, automatically the fabric will stretch along. Alright, so we've done the folding already, which is I'm cutting the front. Now how do you know that your folding is okay? Divide your thigh by 2. So thigh divided by 2 gives you 13. Remember, our thigh is 26. 26 divided by 2 gives you 13. So I'm having 14 here. 14. So my folding is very okay. Remember, we say we're cutting for a rope. There are various patterns of cutting for rope. I'll go with this easiest method. Alright, the very first thing you need to do, you fold 1/2 inch. The 1/2 inch goes for sewing. You fold 1/2 inch. This 1/2 inch goes for sewing. Okay? You now fold 2 inch again in. So the total will fold, then we fold 2 inch again in, and you iron it down. Remember, you started with folding 1/2 inch, then 2 inch. Alright, perfect. Now automatically this first line becomes your waist line. Take note, the first line becomes your waist line. Now the next line we need to take is our thigh line, and to get your thigh line, you divide your hip by 4. So 40 divided by 4 gives you 10. So from this point at the waistline down, I'm marking 10 inch. 10 inch. Alright, so this is my thigh line. Now the next line I'll be taking is my knee line, and to get your knee line, you divide your full trouser length by 2. So 43 divided by 2 gives you 21.5. So from this point I'm marking 21.5. Alright, now in other cases, from the thigh, another method of getting your knee line, from the thigh down, it ranges from 10, 11, 12 depending on the person. So from 10, 11, 12, as you can see, this is 11 3/4, which is in between the range, like I said. Now the next thing I'll be taking is the full trouser length. You take it from this point down, the full trouser length. Remember, the trouser length is 43. 43, I'm marking at 43, and I'm adding 2 inch folding allowance. I'm adding 2 inch folding allowance. 43, 44, 45. So this is my ankle line. So we now have our waistline, which is this point, our thigh line, which is gotten by hip divided by 4. We have our knee line, which is a full trouser length divided by 2, or it ranges from the thigh down. It ranges from 10, 11, 12 depending on how tall the person is. Now the next point is your ankle, which is from this waist down to this point, and your allowance. Now starting from this point, remember we folded, the full folding we did was 14 inch. So the half of 14 is 7. So I'm marking 7 at all the spots. Take note, I'm marking 7 at all the spots. Remember the full folding. Okay, that is the center of our trouser. That is the center of our trouser. We are using the middle line pattern. Okay, so that is the middle. So alright, so coming back to this point, remember that is the center. So now at this point we now want to put our measurements starting from the middle. Our ankle is 14. So 14 divided by 2 gives you 3 3/4. This is 3 3/4, 3 3/4 from the middle. Now coming to the knee is 18. So from the middle, 18 divided by 2 gives you 4.5. This is 4.5. This is 4.5. Now coming to the thigh, remember the thigh is 26. So from the middle, which is 6.5, 6.5. Now you don't remove your tape. There is what you call crotch. Take note, the crotch. So you come down by 1.5 inch. 1.5 inch. After marking your thigh point, you don't remove your tape. You come down by 1.5 inch. Some persons come down by 2. Some persons come down by 1. But in this case, I'm using 1.5, and I'm making a slope line down to the waistline as shown. Down to the waistline as shown. Now I'll be making a nice curve. Watch carefully. Freehand curve. This curve is called your crotch. Take note. This curve is called your crotch. Alright. Now the waist is 36. So from this point in, I'm marking 36, which is 9. And I'm adding 1.5 inch sewing allowance. Remember, we're making a rope. We are not using zip, so the waist circumference need to be free. So remember, from this point, I'm marking 9 plus 1.5 inch. So at this point, I now connect my lines. Connect all the lines. Okay. Down to this point. Down to this point. I'm trying to connect all the mark. Okay. Trying to connect all the points. Okay, so at this point, at this junction, we're now through with our front panel. This is our front panel. Okay, we're not through with our front panel. Now this is your crotch point. This is your out seam. We have your out seam. Sorry, this is your in seam, and this is your out seam. The side that you fix your pocket is your out seam, while this other part is the crotch, and this is the in seam. So at this point, we're now through with our front panel. We now want to cut. So at this point, as you can see, we are through with our front panel. So now we now want to cut the back panel. Okay, so we are through with the front panel. We now want to cut the back panel. Now, to cut the back panel, you fold the fabric. Now this time around, the folding will be bigger than the front with at least 3 to 4 inch. Take note. So if your folding for the front was 14 inch, this time around it will be up to 17, 18 inch or thereabouts. Alright, so after folding, you spread your front as shown. Okay. The back is very easy and we'll be fast about it. Now remember that while we're cutting the front, if you take note, we didn't add any allowance at the ankle point, knee point, and at the thigh point. Now at this stage, we now add all of that. So these are ankle points. These are our knee point. This is where the knee is, and this is our thigh point. So now we have to add 2 inch sewing allowance. So we're adding 2 inch here for sewing allowance. We're adding 2 inch here. We're also adding 2 inch here. Now watch carefully at the thigh, but when it gets to the thigh, at the thigh point, we're not adding 2 inch, we're adding at least 2.5 or 3 inch. Reason being that this part needs to be free. This is the thigh point. We're adding, in this case, I'm adding 3 inch. This part needs to be free. There are sometimes you just stretch your leg and you notice that your trouser will turn apart. That is because this region, the allowance added was very small. So you need to add at least 2.5 or 3 inch. While at this point, since we're making for a rope, remember I said that since it is a rope, the waist need to be free. There is no zip, so at this point I'm adding another 1.5 inch. 1.5 inch. So I'm taking this down to this point. All right. Okay, so when you're through, you connect the lines. You're trying to connect all the lines. Connect this. Okay. All right. So at this stage, we're now through. So you're not joking. Now, take note that when cutting for a rope, both the front and the back will be equal. But if you're cutting for belt, the front will be slanted down while the back will be slanted up. But in case of rope, both the back and the front will be equal. So at this stage, we're now through with our back panel. So we cut. So at this stage, this is the front and this is the back. Well, the next video I'll be showing us is how to fix the pocket and that of the rope. Once again, you're watching PJ Collection Clothing. Okay, so we're through with the cutting and the weaving. Now I want to start the sewing proper. So we want to start with the fixing of the front pocket. So to start, this is the front panel. The good side facing each other, you place it as shown. Now fold 1/2 inch as shown, then you fold the 2 inch again. Remember, this 2 inch, that is where you pass your rope. This is where the rope will pass. Alright, so the very first thing you need to do, you put a notch immediately after the folded part, at least 1/2 inch notch as shown. Then you mark 7 inch, the length of, you want to fix our pocket, 7 inch or 7.5 inch, depending on how wide. So you get your paper gum stain as shown. You now gum at the edge where you fixed your notch. Okay, then you fold. Remember, we're making a rope or a native trouser. Fold as shown. You fold it down to the point where the notch stops. Alright, so you do the same for this other part as well. You put your paper gum stain and you fold. So after this, we now want to fix our pocket bag. So we'll go to the machine now. Okay, so at this stage, I want to show us how to fix our pocket to the part. So this is the front panel, one of the parts, either the left or the right. This is the wrong side. And you pick your pocket bag 14 by 14. Remember, your pocket bag is 14 by 14. So this is also the wrong side I've indicated. So the wrong side, facing the wrong side, at the point where you fix your notch, take note. Now make sure that the pocket bag is longer from the point up, at least 1.5 inch to 2 inch. So the very step, remember, step 1, you sew at this point to this point down. So let's do that now. Now, the next thing you do, you put a notch on the pocket bag. Remember, there was no notch on the pocket bag, as you can see. So you put it from, okay, then after that, you now fold this in. You fold this in. Take note, you're folding this in, then you top stitch. After folding, you now sew from here at the top, at the mouth down as shown. Okay, then when you're through with that, I've done the top stitching, as you can see. So when you're through, the next thing, you close this from this point, you close this as shown to form the pocket bag, making sure that you leave at least 1/2 inch as shown, as you can see. Remember, this from the back, you're closing it as shown to form the pocket bag. Straight pocket, we have a slant, curved and straight pocket. This is straight type. So you top stitch here and also top stitch here. So let's do that now. Okay. We're through with that point. Now the next thing you do after you're through, you open this, the pocket bag, you open it, then you put a notch at least ½ inch, then you insert your hand in from the pocket as shown, then you bring it out, then you now sew. You sew from the point, you sew from this point, you sew it, you curve it as shown. We are almost through with our pocket. Remove the excess. So the next thing, you bring it back. Remember, you put your hand back as shown, then you bring it back. So you top stitch again, so it will be very tight, so it will not lose quickly. So you top stitch again. Alright, so we're now through with, so that is how you fix your front pocket for a rope pant. So you do this for the other one, same step. So this is how you fix it. So we're through with our pockets. Okay, so we'll fix the pocket now. This is the two front panel again. We now want to start our sewing proper. Remember, we folded this and we said it is at this point that you pass your rope. So what you do is, remember this from here, this is where the folded stop and this is where you stop. So in between from this point to this point, that is where you fix your rope. So I'm marking the distance I'm using here is at least 1 inch. Remember, this is your folded point down to where the folding is. So this is where you fix your rope. So you sew from this point 1/4 inch, so and when you stop here, you skip your needle to this point and you sew. So let's do that now. Okay. So we're now through with this point. So that is where the rope will pass. So now pick one of your back panel. At this stage, you pick one of your back panel. I want to do the joining now. Pick one of the back panel, which is this. Okay. Now the good side to the good side, picking one. Then I'm sewing at this point ½ inch. I'm joining now. I'm joining the back to the front. So at this point, I'm joining now. Remember the good side to the good side. So you sew ½ inch down, making sure that when you get to this point, make sure you capture this point. Make sure your sewing captures up to this point. Then even at this point, so it captures down to this point. So let's do the sewing now. Okay, now I want to join the second part. Now to do that, remember you're sewing off ½ inch. When you get to this point, make sure you capture the pocket, the notch that you did. Because if you don't, then you shift the pocket out. As you can see, I'm trying to shift it out. So I'll be able to capture the exact ½ inch. So I'm sewing my ½ inch down to the ending. Alright, so I'm through with the joining of both parts. So the next thing, you fold it to the back. This is the good side, so you fold it from the back. We want to join the waist part now. Remember, the waist we cut was 36, so there will be excess since it is a rope 36. This is a 40, this is 36, so we have 2-inch extra. So I'm sewing out ½ inch as well. At the crotch part, take note, from the back, this is the good side and this is the back, so I'm sewing out ½ inch as shown. Okay, when you're through with this, remember we now do the folding from the top. We're almost through. So the next thing you to remember, we folded ½ inch. We folded ½ inch, then 2 inch. So I'll first of all sew the ½ inch folded. You fold the ½ inch and you sew round. Sometimes you can just do the 2 once. You fold the ½ inch, then you fold again. But let me start with the 2 inch. So I'll sew this round. Okay, I'm through sewing the ½ inch and now I want to fold the 2 inch. And remember, this is the point where you fold your 2 inch, and that is where the rope, as you can see, that is where the rope will pass. So you now sew this 2 inch folded as well, round. You sew it round. This folded, you sew it round. Okay, so at this stage I'm through sewing the 2 inch round, as you can see. So the next thing we want to do, we now want to do the joining. But before you do the joining, first the crotch part, take note, this is the crotch part, that is this point, the crotch part. First you join the down crotch part first, making sure that this line is in line with this other part. Watch carefully, making sure that the 2 lines are together, and you sew off ½ inch. I'm sewing off ½ inch, you tack it with ½ inch at that point. Remember I said these 2 points should be equal, as you can see, equal. So I'm sewing off ½ inch. Okay, now go over to the ankle point. After that, go over to the ankle point. Now this is the ankle point, join it together. Remember our ankle is 15 while cutting, so that you take your knee measurement as well down. So remember we added 2 inch, ½ inch. This part has already taken ½ inch, which is 1 inch, and this part will go with ½ inch. Our ankle is 15, so you measure from here down, as you can see, 15. Take note, 15, that is 7 and half. So you are sewing that point. You maintain the 15. So you still measure to check, alright, the line. Take it down. Down. Now, this is your knee point. Remember, our knee is 18. So as you can see, our knee, this is the knee point. So your knee is 18. Down to the point here. Alright, so you do the same thing with the other leg part as well. Starting from the down. Remember, you're sewing it from the wrong side. So remember, our ankle is 15, the knee 18, down. Alright, so we're through with the joining. So the last thing you need to do, you go to your pressing table and you iron this. You open this. You also iron this other part as well. You open it. So you do this for both legs. Then the next thing we need to do is to take our full trouser length, then you fold the excess. Then the next thing, you sew our rope. Alright, so I'm through pressing both sides. You do that for both legs. So the next thing we need to do is to get our full trouser length. So this is the waist region. This is the waist region. So you fold this to the back, just trying to then, as shown, Okay, the full trouser length is 43. So this is full trouser length, which is 43. So you fold this in, fold from this point inward, fold this in, then you fold the second one in. Alright, so as you can see, I'm through with the folding, and this is our trouser. So our trouser is ready. So the next thing you need to do, remember you folded in. So you sew this folded part in, you sew it round. You also sew it on the second leg as well. You sew this folded part, you sew it round. So at this stage, we are through with our rope pant. Once again, you're watching PJ Collection Clothing. Alright, the next thing we need to do is the rope. Now, how do you know that your rope is okay? How do you know how long the rope should be? Now, let's check our waist here. Remember, we said the full waist here is 30. The full waist here is 40. So this should be as long as 50, 60. So it will be enough. So to do this, to fold this, step one, you fold this 1, 2, then 3. Now top stitch at this opening point. Take note, you fold 1, 2, 3. Remember, our trouser waist is 40, so this should be up to 55 or there. So you sew down to the ending. Then when you're through with this, you now fix it from this point. Remember, this is where this will pass. You now fix this, fix it round the waist. Okay, so at this junction we're through. These are fixed rope. So this is the pocket, as you can see. This is the pocket, and also this is the second pocket, and this is the rope. So this is how to make a rope pant or a native trouser. Once again, you're watching PJ Collection Clothing online class.